Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're hearing a difference, that means that we are now testing out our brand new studio. My name is Jonathan. I'm the founder of Driving Academy, and we are coming out to you live with a brand new podcast from our brand new podcast studio here in an undisclosed location, potentially the new headquarters of Driving Academy itself. So what we actually wanted to do was we wanted to create a space that actually developed where we can kind of get extra creative with everything that we're doing. So you can see us on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, or if you like a podcast version of this, you can always check out our podcast if you're watching on YouTube. And that's going to be, all you got to do is go to any of your podcast apps and just search CDL Driving Academy podcast. Will be the first ones that pop up. You'll see my beautiful face right in there. Now, this is one of the first times that we're actually interviewing somebody on this podcast. We're actually doing a series to open this thing up. We get to meet our actual Driving Academy team. Now, you see me in pretty much all the videos here, but I'm definitely nowhere near a one-man show. We have a whole team of great, amazing people behind us that help us in our mission of helping 1 million people get on the road to freedom. And today we actually have Phil, who is usually the guy behind the camera. The cool thing about Phil is he has been one of our longest employees here. So we're a relatively newer company. We've been around 5-6 years or so. And Phil has seen us grow tremendously. And he has seen me in pretty much all of our recent videos for the past at least 4 or 5 years going through the process here. And he's really gotten everything that we needed to know. And he's actually helped you out when it comes to learning our stuff, because he's the one that goes in there after I'm done shooting, edits everything, makes it look pretty, and posts it up on all of our social media platforms. So I want to welcome you, Phil, the cameraman, the legendary guy behind the camera. We have a lot of fans of yours because they like your work. So say hello to the fans officially.
Hello, fans, officially. Here I am in front of the cameras for once. Not really something I do very often, but I'm always willing to fill in when need be.
Yeah, and then Phil would actually edit. This is actually one of the videos that he was actually in when I was actually away, and he wanted to step up and make sure that the content kept flowing. So he's actually been in front of the camera before, and he actually helps direct me and other people to really produce great content for you guys to help you get on your road to freedom with the CDL license. So we don't really have anything scripted here. We're just going to be raw with you and ask certain questions of each other and really get to know the team so you see exactly who is the people behind you when it comes to getting yourself a CDL license. Our mission is to help 1 million people get on the road to freedom. And what's more free than driving where you want to go and making more money while you're doing it, right? And that's what we wake up every single day with a passion for, to really help change people's lives. So, Phil, let's ask you a few questions. You've been with us for how long now?
This previous summer, it's October now, would be my 4th year, so about 4.5 years now.
4.5 years. That's a lot of YouTube videos, huh?
Yeah, I'd say about, where are we at right now? Like 800, 900, coming up on 1,000, something like that. Yeah, it's a crazy amount, I would say.
That's a lot of stuff. That's cool. So, I guess when you first started, kind of what made you want to join our company in the first place?
Well, you know kind of my backstory. I graduated with my bachelor's in animation and design, so to speak. So originally I was going into like animation kind of thing, but that came with all the video editing skills and audio skills and all that kind of stuff, so it was pretty versatile. And really at first I was just kind of looking for whatever job is out there, however many, 4 years ago, whatever the case, it was, they say, you say you're an art major and you get laughed at because there's no jobs out there, so to speak, for that kind of thing, right? But, I put my nose to the grindstone. I was determined to find something within my field. At first, I was just getting a whatever job. Before working here, for about 3 days, I worked at a dog, not a shelter necessarily. There were adoptable dogs there, but it was kind of like you bring your dog here for when you're going on vacation kind of thing, dog daycare kind of thing. Got that job just because I want to make money, whatever the case, just to get myself by while I look for a job. You got to do what you got to do. It is what it is.
Definitely.
But and I worked there for about 3 days before I found your job position on Indeed, and I got really lucky there, and I applied, and you remember it. I came in for my interview, and pretty much hired me on the spot there because I guess you liked what you heard, and Yeah, we've just been driving ever since then.
Yeah, we have, yeah. So Phil is actually not the first person to hold this position. And when I started the business, of course, like most entrepreneurs, you don't really know what you're doing. So same thing when you're looking to get your CDL license, you are somebody who is going to kind of learn something new and kind of try and fail and try and fail. And that's where you're going to come to a school so we can kind of guide you and reduce the amount of failures that happen along the way and speed up the process. There was no real school for entrepreneurship, even though I graduated from college. Me and Phil actually graduated from the same university, Monmouth University. Go Hawks, if there's any Monmouth alumni out there, right? But I think Phil was probably like our fifth person that I hired for this media role. And every single time I learned something new about, okay, this is what I want, this is what I don't want. It's almost like dating, right? You start realizing what are the red flags in an individual, what are the green flags, and Phil actually wound up being a lot of those green flags, and clearly he stayed with us for 4 years. So a lot of people kind of start a job, but it's getting more and more rare for somebody to stay at a job for this long. What has kept you here?
Well, when you're straight out of school, back then 4 years ago, I'm not straight out of school anymore, but you have kind of two avenues. You can jump from job to job and try to, find your fit, or you can kind of stick with what you have and kind of see where it grows. Of course, Driving Academy was a much smaller company way back when I first joined on, much smaller. And, I saw the potential, and I figured, I could move now. I could leave the job now if I wanted to and go find something else and start over somewhere, or I can stick with what I'm comfortable with at the moment and what I know and kind of grow along with it, because, I know you never stop. That's the mentality you foster within all of the Driving Academy employees. So I'm just kind of getting on the wave and kind of riding with it, but, putting in my own work and doing what I got to do and kind of seeing where it takes me. And now we're here in our own studio and taking the next step. And I think it was a good move to stick around and kind of, put that amount of eggs in the basket, so to speak.
Oh yeah, definitely, for sure. And what kind of things, I guess, have you learned from being here?
Well, it's one thing to get your schooling and have structure to your life and do your assignments and all that kind of stuff. It's another thing to kind of jump on with an entrepreneur who wants to do his thing and raise his business. Every day comes with its own surprises. The tides go up and down, and some days are good, some days are hectic, but ultimately...
There are days where I'm saying, hey, Phil, I got a brand new idea. Let's get this going, right?
Exactly, 100%. So, really it's just kind of getting the feel of when the river's current changes, you kind of got to go with it and get comfortable with what might not necessarily come up. Like, this field has, however many cameras and mics, and us, just a moment ago, we were troubleshooting, getting the actual system working the last time. And, really it's just about going with the flow and kind of sticking to it and having that perseverance,
That's true. Very cool. So, it's a pretty cool story. I've seen you grow tremendously. I remember when you first started, you were shy, talking to people. You were right out of school, so you're still kind of honing in your craft. You've gotten so much better throughout the years, and there's so much more that we're going to do now that we're expanding everything, and we're building out the media department as well. So hopefully by next week, you might have some team members underneath your belt, which is pretty exciting.
That is true. It's something I'm working on, going well. I responded to a few people who bit, and just going to see where it goes, and hopefully we get someone good.
Nice, very cool. So when it comes to adding value to the actual potential students here, or people wanting to get their CDL license, what kind of lessons have you learned from the student side, and maybe from your own point of view on that you can actually see, because you've actually interacted with students. You're not just behind the camera. You do a lot of stuff behind the scenes. You communicate with students. Currently you help them out when it comes to job placement stuff sometimes. Mm-hmm. You're the one that prints them out the certificate. You're the one that they see when they pass. In the beginning, when you first started, you were the one doing the school tours, answering phones, and so you know the entire process. You're not just a video guy. Nobody on our team is just one person, right? Everybody on our team. The reason why we were able to grow so fast and help out so many people is that we stayed agile, just like Phil was saying, and we kept cross-training and growing and manipulating and making sure that things were happening correctly. So for the people who are looking to get a CDL license, what kind of value can you bring to them in your 4 years experience? You've interacted with thousands of students by now. You've seen what works, what doesn't work, and how has that taught you in your current position?
Well, It's kind of interesting because I never saw myself being someone working anywhere near CDL or truck driving or anything for that matter. It's pretty funny because I myself hated driving just a normal car when I first started off. I didn't start actually really driving around until I think I got my license when I was 18, and I only really started doing it when I had to commute in college for 1 year, so when I was 20 kind of thing. But really just what I've learned about the whole kind of CDL and trucking, and what I was surprised about was just kind of how versatile of a career it really is, because if you think it might not be for you, or you're worried the money's not going to be there or anything like that, it is, because we're in an age where Amazon's going crazy, shipping everything out. No one leaves their houses anymore for any kind of shopping or anything like that. It's becoming a really big thing. So things need to get where they're going. And I think what I ultimately learned is that might be stereotype that's still around, whatever the case. Usually you think of a truck driver as like a larger tough kind of burly man. He lives life on the road, doesn't have a kind of a house or anything like that to go to. But that's really not really the case. I've seen a lot of people come through the doors. I've seen the smallest 4-foot woman come through the door wanting to get her CDL because she needs to provide for her kids. We've seen fully dressed in their suits lawyers walk through the doors and say, "I'm done with this. I want to get into a career and not have so much stress." So really, if the value I would just kind of say is just on a daily basis, what we tell people is it's not for everyone if your heart's not in it, but it can be for anyone, if that makes any sense, kind of thing.
That's right, yeah.
So really the only quality you really need to have is your perseverance, because the process gets tougher, the DMV puts new rules on us, kind of thing. So really it's just stick to it, follow the process. You came to a school for a reason, trust that process, and if you just follow it and work hard, you'll get it eventually. It's hard, but it's not rocket science, kind of thing.
That's true, yeah. And that kind of puts out a good point. If you just trust the process, we've helped thousands of students in the past kind of guide them through this. We know it's going to be tough. A lot of people have this understanding that, hey, I've been driving a car, I've been driving a box truck for so many years, this should be easy. It's actually a lot harder than that. So like Phil said, if you follow the process that we designed and you never give up on yourself, then there's impossible that you can lose, since we're probably the only school around that can actually guarantee that people get their CDL license. But now your role, besides the whole filming and media side of things, is actually helping people find jobs. So tell somebody who's actually coming right out of school, because a lot of people possibly listening here might be thinking, hey, I'm going to need some experience when I come out of school. I can't find the job that I want. I'm not going to be able to stay local. What are some realistic expectations that people can have when it comes to graduating school if they come from a reputable school like ours, which we're the best truck driving school in the country?
So, as you've already brought up, we do have our lifetime job placement program, so we make it a big deal to ensure our students that we're not just going to toss you to the side after you get your license. We will help you get a job working with it afterwards. Honestly, the expectation might be better than people think, because there are still companies out there that are being a little picky with their drivers. I want this much experience, and that's understandable when you're going cross country. You've got important loads, kind of thing. But the thing to understand is that there is a huge driver shortage happening at this moment. So, of course, that's made companies very desperate to find drivers. And honestly, most of the companies on that job board are companies that came to us and basically said, hey, we really need you to drop some drivers in our lap. We're really desperate here. So we're coming to the schools. We're getting them straight out. So, they might not necessarily be paying their maximum amount straight out for new drivers, but the pay is still really good. We've seen students starting off $50,000, $55,000, $60,000 a year. And as I was saying before with me and my own job, if you just stick to it and you prove yourself, that pay will go up. And the thing to understand is that once they get you in their door, they don't want you to leave. So they will continue to treat you right as long as you just show your worth, and they will definitely provide for you what you deserve. Because again, without truck drivers, there's nothing getting where it needs to be. And this country would shut down without truck drivers, so we need to treat them right.
That's true, yeah. There's been a study saying that after 3 days of no truck driving, the whole country would shut down even worse than what it did in the pandemic, right? So it is a definitely very important role. To second Phil, we actually probably get, I would say, conservatively, anywhere from 3 to 5 calls per week from different companies begging us to send them drivers, and that's a very conservative number. So there's no shortage of jobs as long as you know where to look and you know where the connections are. Since the companies know what kind of product that we put out there, they contact us knowing that they're going to get good drivers, simply because we have things like our simulators that we're going to train you on to get you years of experience within just a few days of training. So it's definitely really cool. Any last thoughts, Phil, before we wrap this thing up?
Well, nothing really more to add than that. Just listen closely to what we have to say, and any just now and any other podcasts in the future. And we're planning on getting some really good people on here with different backgrounds and careers and all that kind of stuff. So keep listening, keep watching, and we're going to keep putting out good content.
That's right. And with the help of Phil, we're not going to stop. We're always going to elevate our level. So in the first couple, sometimes you'll just see me talking on this podcast. We're going to try to at least do one podcast a week. You might see more people getting interviewed from our current team. You might see us interview some current students, some graduates, some owner-operators, some companies. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we're going to be doing here. So if you like this podcast, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It's going to help out with the algorithm so we can help out more people. And if you're watching us on YouTube, I love you. Make sure you like, subscribe to the video, and please share no matter where you are, because our mission is to help 1 million people get on the road to freedom, and you can be part of that, helping by sharing. So if you have any questions, give our team a call at 908-525-3609, or just check out our website. We're going to constantly keep growing out different locations out there since we're now a franchise, and all you got to do is check out our website to find out the location nearest you. And that website's going to be CDLDrivingAcademy.com. Again, CDLDrivingAcademy.com. Thank you, Phil. Great 4 years. Let's do at least 4 more. What do you say?
Yeah, I think that's a good plan. As long as things keep going up and keep changing here, I think I can do that.
Sounds good. All right, my brother. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, make sure you hit that like button. Also, subscribe to our channel. It's really going to help us out. Click on that button. And if you want to continue yourself on your road to freedom, here's more videos to watch. There's endless amounts. Hopefully we get to see each other one day very soon. Thanks.